All right, so today I want to talk about something, a quote that I actually heard last night at this event that I was at. I was at my alma mater at UCI, University of California, Irvine. It's called Lauds and Laurels, where we give away awards to alumni. Like one of the alumni, he's the coach right now of the Washington Wizards. He was also the coach of the Oklahoma Thunder during their 2012 championship or something like that. Brian is the one to quote that, and he was there. He's a UCI alum, and we honored like 12 others, and we also gave our highest honor medal to our Chancellor Emeritus. I think that means past Chancellor. He's now the president of where is he the president? Ohio State, the Buckeyes, and but he came back. He came back in town, and we honored him and his wife. His wife, so much grace, reminds me of like a Claire Huxtable or even my grandma like 20 years ago, right? And it was wonderful. In his speech, he said the difference between an A and an A plus is great. And he was talking about the report card of the university and how, yeah, the university gives report cards, right? You go to school, you get a grade, you get a report card. But what really happens is all of us, myself included, we go out into the real world and we serve the world and we do our things individually and collectively. And that becomes the report card of the school, right? That's how you grade the school. And the same way can be said about parenthood, right? We try our best with our kids and we train them up in the way that they should go, and then they go out into the real world and they do, and they act and they serve. And that's like our report card. That's our report card, parents. And the difference between an A, like an A is great, don't get me wrong. An A is excellent. But when somebody chooses to award you with an A plus, what is that saying? That's saying you have gone over and beyond excellent. There was something I remember when someone said, hey, when you think you've done your best, try bettering your best. What does that mean? But you probably heard me quote that nothing fails like success. What does that mean? What that means is that when people make it or people start doing great things, a lot of people with the wrong, he gets mad when I don't bet him. See, people with the wrong mindset, they stop doing what they did to get to that greatness, right? They think, oh, I got that A, so to speak, that A of life or whatever, that A of achievement, and then they stop doing those things. But the challenge is staying as hungry and as passionate and as determined as you were when you first got started, right? When the world was your oyster and you had these dreams and aspirations and these visions and you want to take over the world, that childlike curiosity and vigor and vitality. The challenge is keeping that up when you're old. Now, some people manage to do it. Some people that could have retired 40 years ago, still at it. You see some senators. I didn't even know Maxine Waters. She's our congresswoman in LA, Inglewood area. I didn't know she was almost 80 years old. She started in the game 40 years ago. What makes someone keep going way beyond retirement age, way beyond their A? What makes someone continue to go so hard that they achieve an A plus? Jim Collins, a man named Jim Collins, he wrote the book Good to Great. There's a lot of good companies out there, right? There's a lot of good people out there. But what does it take to be great? That's my question to you. And I'm not even really trying to give you an answer. It's better to ask the right questions than it is to always think you know the answers, right? If you come into a situation with statements and answers, you'll walk away with a bunch of questions. But if you go into a situation with good questions, you'll probably walk away with some awesome answers. Remember that nugget of wisdom. So that's the question today. What does it take, right? Well, if you asked the chancellor last night, he said the difference between A and A plus is great, right? What does it take to stay on that path, right? It takes consistency, I think. These are just things I'm pondering. I think a lot of people don't get to that A plus because they don't remain consistent. Look at Braxton. He's just looking. He's just learning right now. Braxton, you got to be consistent, right? You got to stay on the course. You got to keep going. There's something called momentum And momentum doesn't develop out the gate, right? Take a train, especially like a steam engine type of train. I think all of them are. I'm not sure if they're making electric trains right now, but they start really slow, right? Really slow, right? But when that train develops momentum, how many people want to be in front of it? I don't know about you, but I don't want to be in front of that train. That same train that starts so slow that if you were a foolish kid, you might be playing games around it, jumping the track and stuff like that because it's so slow. Oh, that's not going to catch up. But when that train develops speed, that same train can power through a concrete building. That train may even power through a steel building because of momentum. So I think part of going from A to A plus is just consistency, staying in the game, learning. The people who have gotten to the highest levels in whatever that they do, right? These are the people that stayed in the game, right? And if you ask every one of them, if you ask to have dinner with anybody that you admire, past or present, and you ask them what was the secret to their success, I bet you part of it was consistency. Not that they were great from the beginning, not that they were all that they were going to be on day one, but they got better and better, and they had this mentality of bettering their best. There's always something else you can do, right? The message is, let's start having A+ mentalities. Do you know anybody who's got an A+ mentality? You know who comes to mind for me? My grandma. My grandma always told me, she said, I don't do things any type of way. You ever met an old person that says that? I don't do things any type of way. That's exactly how she says it. And when I was 5 and 6 years old, and I had to do my little Easter speeches in church, and she would teach me the Bible, and I'd get up. I was like the youngest guy in my church who would get up. And, you know, we have a certain level of forgiveness for the little kids, right? You know, a little kid gets up there, snotting their nose, and, you know, the Lord is my shepherd, and then we all wandering off. And, you know, most of the people are going to say, cute, you know, there's a level of forgiveness for the kids. My grandma, she said, we don't get up there and do it any type of way. She had a level of A+ excellence. And, you know, sometimes, you know, that doesn't work for everybody. Think of like Joe Jackson and Michael Jackson, all them. But, and she did it with love, though. She did it with love. And she developed that A+ mentality in me. And even my wife can't figure out. She says, you always want to be the best. Why? Why do you always want to be the best? And when I'm done with one thing, she knows that I'm already thinking about the next. And that's even happening right now in my life. People that know me right now, they know what I'm cooking up right now. I'm just not public about it. But I'm even cooking up something right now that will be a big life change. You know, I feel like the first quarter of my life, I've done well, and I've done some entrepreneurial things. But because of this A+ mentality, I don't want to get stuck, especially when I know that I'm being called to something else that was birthed in me 20 years ago that I just haven't done yet. So there's even some things right now. So when I'm talking to you about A and A+, I'm also talking to myself, and I'll announce, you know, what I'm up to, but it's something that is, you know, at the same time it's ambitious, but it's also something that's scary. But it's something that I've got to do. And the same message for you, right? What's your A+? And what does it take to be an A+ type of person? And I believe that it starts with the little things that you do. My grandma said, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Don't try to be an A+ person to the world. How do you clean up your own room? Right? How do you organize your own shoes in the closet, right? What does your car look like? Right? I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so we just have to challenge ourselves to be A+ with the small things. What does the scripture say? If you be faithful over little, remember the parable of the talents and all, there's many analogies. But if you're faithful over the little, you'll be blessed with a lot. Much that is given, much is required, right? So that's the message today. The difference between A and A+.